Hello, scholars. Today we're going to review how to write an introductory paragraph or an introduction paragraph. As you guys know, our writing process, we have practiced a lot in history with our DBQ. We've reviewed this week. You guys have 3 solid body paragraphs by now, or at least you should. And you used the claim statement that you created to write those. So now we can start at the beginning and write our introduction paragraph. Now, your introduction paragraph, you have to think of it as a giant paragraph that's going to pique the interest or get people excited about what you're going to write about. It's like a giant hook in a sense because you're going to pull in information from the story, give exciting details, interesting details, set the stage up for why Bud has rules, why they are there, and how they're important. We're going to look at an example. It's going to look slightly different than the ones we do in history, a little less structured, but you'll notice some key points here. I want you to be thinking of these questions as we go along. How can you begin the paragraph? So that's the first thing you want to kind of take notice of, is how does this author begin their paragraph, okay? And then how did the author begin to model the argument within their essay? So they're modeling, they're stepping through, they're going step by step into their introduction paragraph. How are they setting that stage for you? What is important for your reader to know as you enter your essay? You're proving that Bud's rules are either made to help him survive or thrive. Well, in this instance, we're using Steve Jobs' speech as an example. Does he use his rules to help the students thrive or survive? And he does this, and he builds this up, and we're going to see this in just a minute. And then the last thing is, what is your claim? You need to understand that if you can't project that claim in your intro paragraph, your reader might be slightly confused as to why you're writing. So making sure that that last sentence or that last group of sentences shows whether or not your essay is to prove that they're thriving or surviving. All right, so now let's take a look. Ignore the directions because I'm going to go ahead and read this to you, and then you're going to have some time on your own to work on your paragraph. You can always come back and steal things from this, but please do not copy it word for word because you're writing about Bud Not Buddy instead of Steve Jobs' speech. All right, here we go. Life gives many chances to make choices. Life can be both easy and hard. When we make choices during the easy or hard times, we are either surviving or thriving. So there are our first 2 sentences right here. Our first 2 here. Okay, and in these 2 sentences, we're given, let's make this actually orange. We're given 2 sentences that are not directly related to the speech. They're not related to any sort of story we have read. They come from the author's mind, the author's opinion. So they believe that life gives many chances and you have to make choices. They believe that life can be easy and hard. So these are things that come from their mind, their connection to the stories. Now, the second sentence brings in our 2 topics, surviving and thriving. That's a good model. You guys are going to have to choose between the 2, which you've done so already. So making that a point in the reader's mind is helpful. Continuing to read. Steve Jobs used his rules in his life to help him thrive. He did this despite being orphaned, dropping out of college, being fired, and having cancer. Here in this sentence, we see that, or these 2 sentences, they introduce the speech, right? Or they introduce the speaker, which is Steve Jobs. And they give us a brief summary, a 1-sentence summary of what he talks about in his speech. So you're giving the reader the knowledge of the speech. You're giving the reader the knowledge of who it is. You're giving the reader all of this background information to help you or to help them understand your argument. So again, you need to have a little bit of that background, just like in history, a little bit of that background. And we're going to continue to see that here in a minute. In his speech in 2005, Jobs shared his 3 rules to follow in order to thrive in life. Now, how many rules were in the speech? 3. We mentioned that there are 3. And you guys are going to choose 3 as well. So that's a sentence starter that you can use. In the story, Bud Not Buddy, Bud uses many rules, but 3 show how he thrives or survives. That's an example. Continuing to read. While remembering his Reed College days, Steve Jobs, I'm going to highlight this really quick. This is interesting. So I'm going to just talk to you guys as I go because this right here would be helpful. In his college days is when he uses a rule. As you see in Bud Not Buddy, there's a specific instance, there's a time frame, a place, an interaction, something that happens with him and another character or with his internal self where he has to use this rule. So for example, when he's very angry at Callaway, he breaks one of his rules, right? So that can be an example of when he's using that rule. So keep that in mind. Steve Jobs shared his first rule. You have to trust in something. Jobs followed his rule to trust his gut and enrolled in calligraphy college courses. And that led to typefaces and spacing used in computers today. Following the rule to trust in something helped Jobs thrive in life because he trusted him. Let's back up. Following the rule to trust in something helped Jobs thrive in life because he trusted in himself and didn't spend energy worrying about the future. That is an intro paragraph. One of the big differences you're going to see in your intro paragraph compared to this one is you're being taught how to list your reasons within your claim statement. That's the basis of learning how to write an essay. So this last sentence here, the sentence in purple, is going to be the sentence you've already created. Okay, so it's going to be that sentence you've already created. So keeping that in mind, that the last sentence of your intro is the sentence you've already created. So the 3 easy steps I want you to remember as you continue are these. Give me my computer a second. The first one, begin by just setting a general theme of your paper. So again, the theme in this case is thriving or surviving. Talk about what that looks like in life. Talk about what that might mean. Okay, and so my paper is not working. So we're going to do that, and let me get you. We're going to wait. So again, the first one is to start with something to set the stage, a hook, something to capture the reader's attention. You're going to need to set the stage of what the topic is about. So in this case, we see that he said thriving or surviving is part of life. The second step is going to be a brief summary and introduction to the rules. So what is the book about? It's Bud. He's on a journey to find his father. He meets interesting characters along the way. You get to see him use his rules to help him either thrive or survive, depending on what you chose. And then you end it with your claim statement, okay, which is what's on that worksheet in your packet. Okay, so it's very important to follow those 3 steps. It's very important to make sure you're clear and concise, but also keep in mind this is our first draft. Like we talked about in English on Monday and Tuesday, your thesis, your paper, practice makes perfect. It's not going to be perfect the first time. I'm going to be able to look at it, give you corrections, your pluses, your minuses, write feedback if you're way off, so just give me something, give me some writing so that I can really help you become a better writer, because the only way we can learn with writing is trying and then failing and learning from that failure. Because even as an adult, I can submit a paper, I can go back to college, and my professors are always going to have areas of growth for me. So using that as an idea of this is not actually graded at this time, but the only way you're not going to learn is if you don't do it. So give me your best, do your thing, show me what you got. I cannot wait to read them. Rewatch this as many times as you need to, and use this example as a stepping stone for you. Use this to help you as you go through writing your own. So again, by the end of today, I need you to have your intro paragraph done. Rewatch this if you need to. Quick summary. Begin with setting the stage or starting the theme that, life is hard or easy or whatever it may be. Give that reader an idea of what you're talking about. Secondly, introduce the book and the character Bud at least, and why he creates rules. That's a good place to start, okay? And then lastly, you end with your claim statement, just like we do with our intros and document-based questions. Using those skills, transferring them over into English. Good luck.